Okay. We're going to take a look at a book today. It is Jim Henson's Labyrinth Bestiary, a definitive guide to the creatures of the Goblin King's realm, illustrated as with the Dark Crystal Bestiary by Iris Compiet, if I'm saying that name correctly, Toby Froud doing the foreword, and written by S.T. Bende, is the name I'm going to assume. I got this very cheap, which is why I have it, but sadly it is a little dinged up. It's fine. It is not terrible. What we have here, discover the world of Labyrinth in this guide to the wondrous creatures of the Goblin King's realm, featuring illustrations by acclaimed artist Iris Compiet. And it goes on. This is definitely not like in the best shape, but also it was cheap, which was a key element in me acquiring it. Now, I recently actually got around to reading the Dark Crystal Bestiary, which I really enjoyed, so I took a look and found this also available. We have the Goblin King. So I really enjoy Labyrinth. It is, of the two, the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth are often spoken of in the same sentence. They were released, I believe, on VHS at the same time for sale, like after they'd been unavailable for years, they were released for sale at the same time. They came out often on DVD together. Both were, I believe, financial bombs for Jim Henson and crew. Labyrinth, I feel like, has found more of a later fandom, a sort of a cult following. I would argue it's gone beyond that to become sort of a classic than the Dark Crystal. I love it, but the Dark Crystal is more my cup of tea. It's not a competition. I think this is a very fun movie. I have it on DVD. I take it off the shelf once in a while and give it a watch. So what we have, this does look like it's stitch bound. That's nice. I'm really not sure. It does have the same use of, it looks like, cursive writing in here, which I don't love. As mentioned in one of my videos talking about the Labyrinth Bestiary, or the Dark Crystal Bestiary, I went to Catholic school. I grew up learning cursive. I never particularly took to it. I don't particularly enjoy it as a means of communication. And I find, especially as I get older, boy, I really like this. Has a lot more like big, expansive images, which is cool. But as I get older, I find I am less and less inclined to enjoying reading cursive. I find it difficult on the eyes, especially this very thin sort of cursive. Here we have the nasty little fairies that they have in the movie. I could imagine these sharing some lineage with Guillermo del Toro's, was it Tooth Fairies or Teeth Fairies, whatever they were called from, it was one of the Hellboy movies. I think it was Hellboy 2. The Worm. 4 guards. I'm going to flip a few more pages here. That weird dude and his bird head. Brick Keepers. The Fieries. I think the Fieries are upsetting to many people who watch those. Oh, the eye lichen. I love the eye lichen. Oh, do I feel? I do. Oh, nice. Nice. I really like the goblins in this. It's so, I've been putting together this little fantasy sandbox to run for some RPG stuff, and goblins are becoming a little bit more of a key player in them. And this is not the style of goblin I want to go for. However, I love this style of goblin. And a long time ago, I'm talking in the 90s, a friend and I were talking about doing a Labyrinth-inspired role-playing game. Not necessarily a direct translation, but very much inspired by it. I remember we had a lot of, I had collected a lot of Clockwork Automata miniatures that I was painting to use in it, because that was sort of the style of the movie Labyrinth, but also Return to Oz and some other stuff like that. And these goblins were very key to that idea, this style of goblin, the Junk Lady. So yeah, it's the critters you expect. Oh, here we go. This looks like it is some additional material. Now, I don't know what additional material for Labyrinth is canon. I don't know if this comes from a comic book series or a book. I don't know. I have where I have actually watched and read expanded stuff for Dark Crystal. I've never watched or read anything additional for Labyrinth. I don't believe the movie was at all based on a novel. I do think they put out a novelization, which I want to say they produced in a volume that made it look like the book from the film. But I have never read anything for it, so I don't know what additional things might be out there. I'd be curious to learn. So that's a quick look inside of the Labyrinth Bestiary. It looks cool. It looks neat. It looks like it's handled on a similar quality level to the Dark Crystal. As I've said, it may not be my particular cup of tea. Not entirely true. It is, but it's between the two. If I were going to try to weigh one or the other, Dark Crystal is more my bag. But I think that this looks like a solid effort, and I do have the Labyrinth adventure game, and I think that it would be fun to have additional material like this in a similar way to what I talked about with doing the Dark Crystal, like making some kind of player handouts using some of these things could be cool. Even just having some of this art, some of this evocative art, I think is fun. So, yeah, very neat. All right, I'll give this a read at some point. I don't know when. This time of recording this won't probably post for a month and a half from when I'm recording it, but I doubt I'll have this read by then. Anyhow, until next time, take care.